In a small town nestled amidst rolling hills, life moved at a leisurely pace. The marketplace, bustling with traders and buyers, was the heart of the community. Among the many shops lining the narrow streets was a popular restaurant owned by a wealthy but miserly man named Tariq. His soups were renowned far and wide for their rich aroma, but so were his high prices. One chilly winter morning, a poor man named Hassan shuffled past Tariq's restaurant. The biting cold made him pull his tattered coat tightly around him. As he passed the open kitchen window, the tantalizing aroma of lentil soup wafted through the air. Hassan stopped in his tracks, closed his eyes, and inhaled deeply, letting the rich, savory scent transport him to a momentary escape from his hunger and poverty. "Oh, how wonderful it must be to have such a meal," he muttered to himself, his empty stomach growling in protest. For a few moments, Hassan stood there, savoring the aroma, as if the smell alone could fill his belly. His brief reverie was broken by the sharp voice of Tariq, who had been watching him from inside the restaurant. "Hey, you there. What do you think you're doing?" Tariq barked, storming out the door. His eyes were as sharp as his words. Hassan, startled, stammered, I was just passing by, sir. The smell of your soup is so wonderful, I couldn't help but stop and enjoy it for a moment." "Enjoy it, you say? Do you think you can enjoy my soup without paying for it?" Tariq demanded, crossing his arms. "You think the aroma comes for free?" Hassan's eyes widened. "But, sir, I didn't eat anything. I just smelled it. And the smell is part of the soup. If you've enjoyed it, you must pay for it," Tariq insisted. The absurdity of the demand left Hassan speechless, but Tariq was unrelenting. A small crowd began to gather, drawn by the commotion. Some people laughed at the situation, but others were angered by Tariq's greed. "I have nothing to give you," Hassan said finally. "I'm a poor man." "Then I'll take you to Nasreddin Hodja," Tariq declared. "He'll decide what's fair." Nasreddin Hodja, the town's beloved judge and wise man, was known for his wit and sense of justice. People respected him not only for his wisdom but also for his humor, which often turned tense situations into moments of laughter and learning. Later that day, Hassan and Tariq stood before Nasreddin Hodja in the courtyard of the town hall, surrounded by curious townsfolk eager to hear the outcome of the unusual case. Nasreddin Hodja, dressed in his signature turban and robe, listened carefully as Tariq presented his complaint. "This man," Tariq began, pointing an accusatory finger at Hassan, "stood outside my restaurant and enjoyed the smell of my soup without paying for it. The aroma is part of the product I sell, and he owes me compensation." Nasreddin Hodja raised an eyebrow, his eyes twinkling with amusement. He turned to Hassan. "Is this true? Did you enjoy the smell of his soup?" Hassan nodded hesitantly. "Yes, Hodja. I smelled it, but I didn't eat anything. I have no money to pay." Nasreddin Hodja stroked his beard thoughtfully, then nodded. "Very well. Tariq, you claim that the smell of your soup has value and must be paid for." "Exactly," Tariq replied, confident that justice was on his side. Then, Nasreddin Hodja said, reaching into his pocket and pulling out a small pouch of coins, "You shall be paid appropriately." He held the pouch high for everyone to see, then gave it a firm shake. The coins jingled melodiously, the sound ringing out in the quiet courtyard. Nasreddin Hodja turned to Tariq and said with a grin, "There you go. You've been paid with the sound of money for the smell of soup." The crowd erupted into laughter, and even Hassan couldn't help but smile. Tariq's face turned red with embarrassment as he realized the foolishness of his demand. "But Hodja," Tariq sputtered, this is ridiculous." Nasreddin Hodja's expression softened, though his tone remained firm. "No more ridiculous than charging a man for enjoying the smell of your soup. Let this be a lesson, Tariq. True wealth lies not in greed but in generosity." The crowd cheered and applauded Nasreddin Hodja's clever resolution. Tariq, thoroughly humbled, slunk back to his restaurant, and Hassan left the courtyard with a lighter heart. The townsfolk shared the story far and wide, laughing at Tariq's folly and marveling at Nasreddin Hodja's wisdom. And so, the tale of the smell of soup and the sound of coins became a cherished lesson in justice, cleverness, and the value of humor in resolving even the most absurd disputes. The story gives a moral lesson that true wealth lies in generosity and kindness, not in greed. Justice, when served with wisdom and humor, can resolve conflicts and teach valuable lessons to all involved.